So I try to put elements into my stories in which I know that I'm going to enjoy because I know there's a lot of readers like me because I sit there like I try to find vampire novels to read like all the time and I'm looking for different elements in vampire novels. And so I'm like, if I enjoy.
Hi, everyone. It's Samantha Tennnant, and welcome to another version of Fresh Fiction's Video Book Club. Tonight, our guest is Charley Black, and she is writing the types of books that I just always thoroughly gravitate to: paranormal, romance, bit of dystopian in there with her newest series, vampires, magic. Oh, there's just all sorts of things that just pull you into a new world. And she's been writing for years, all the way back from when she was 12, and so there's lots of history there that she's going to be able to pull on and tell us all about her writing process. So with that, let's welcome Charley. Charley, it's great to see you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
How did you get started writing? I saw in your bio that you actually started writing as a kid. And what was it that pulled you to putting down your own stories?
Honestly, it was because I couldn't find what I wanted to actually read. It was really hard. I started reading, I don't know if you guys know VC Andrews books.
Oh gosh,
Yeah,
Flowers of the Audit. Come on.
right. It was my mom's books and I love romance. And so I started reading them and I was just like, what other books are out there? And so I was just like, why can't I just write my own? Like, why do I have to go look? And so I put my first one down. I had a dream that I didn't want to end. So I was like, I'm gonna write it down and see where it goes. And I just kept going.
And what was it that eventually pulled you to romance and specifically paranormal romance then?
This is funny. So my favorite genre is actually historical romance. I love historical romance. But what actually pulled me to like vampires was I watched Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. And I was just like, oh, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, I love this. So I was just like, I just started reading vampire romances and I was just like, I want to write my own. Like, I want a different story. Like, I really want to fall into that kind of world. So that's what like pulled me into view. I blame Anne Rice.
A lot of us can do that, definitely. But that's one of the things that I think, and man, I can just go on a whole tangent on this because I think it's so interesting, like with the vampire element, is that there are so many different types of vampires. And like you, I read Interview with the Vampire way back when, and they're classic, right? And picturing everything that's going on in New Orleans and those characters and how that entire series grew
Yeah.
over the years. But I admit, I'm not reading a lot of vampires like that in my
Mhm.
romances now.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about going all the way to like the sparkly Twilight type ones. They have their
Don't
place.
talk about that
But
one.
yeah, I want them to be a little bit more dark and brooding. And but how do you then take those vampires like from Anne Rice and how she crafted that particular world and the rules around vampires, and then the rules from Bram Stoker even? How do you then cultivate that into your own world?
The way I do that, so I have a very vivid like imagination, and so I wanted to take pieces of kind of everyone's world, but put my own spin onto it. So thinking about Bound, I actually read a novel by Erica Stevens. Oh, I forgot the name of it, but she has this whole dystopian world with vampires in it. And I loved it because it was something different. It was completely opposite from Anne Rice. It was completely opposite from Dracula and all of that. It was more, oh my poor son. But it was completely opposite from that. And the romance in it was very like beautiful and great, I guess I want to say. And so I wanted to make a world like that where it was absolutely different from Anne Rice, different from Dracula, but also I don't know, it still pulls in that like tension and that love and that element of it. And so I created Bound and I love this novel. Like I reread it myself and I'm just like, this is like a world I want to live in. And that's why I love the question about what's one thing you insist on having. I'm definitely money. And like, that's why I built this kind of like system where it's okay, you want my blood? Where's the money?
Yeah, quid pro quo. Come on, let's see what all we can do here. And then having it set in a dystopian world also. The city is essentially on the edge of ruin and all these things. Is that, how much is that almost like its own separate character,
Yeah.
or how critical to that is the setting? Because again, images of vampires in your writing, there's the love story element, but
Mm-hmm.
set in this, oh my gosh, everything's about to, it's not exactly an ideal paradise. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, it's not an ideal paradise at all. And it was never meant to be because basically it's supposed to be humans and vampires trying to start over and coexist together. At least that's what they're trying to do. But of course, humans are rebellious, always rebellious. And it's hard for them to really strive towards perfection when they're feeling like they're being overruled and not really being seen. And so this world is basically the romance that I built around this world. They're supposed to build it together. It's supposed to be vampires and humans finally figuring out how to coexist together. At least that's what I'm trying to do. I just love my characters because it's like one day I'm trying to get them to go in one direction and they're like, oh no, it's going in another direction. But the end goal is to try to bring their worlds together so that they can actually coexist in this dystopian world. Because technically, it's them starting all over. They've already fought, they've already done this destruction, but it's really the question of can they actually do it or will they be destroyed again?
And again, this is why I love these types of books, because there's so many different elements that come into play. And you end up usually with that longer story. You've got the first book bound that was just released.
Yep.
And of course, waiting now for the second one that we have to wait for about a year. But, you know, how much of this did it all come together naturally for you or seamlessly, or are you working different parts at different times? Because you have the characters and you said they're misbehaving on you and you think you're going one direction, but then you also have the world building that plays such a critical part. And then you've got the various rules and the storyline. How much of that are you going back and forth and trying to figure out those different elements?
So the world came first. I absolutely love the world abound. It reminds me a lot of Hunger Games, honestly, with the different districts that are within the book. But that's about it. That kind of goes with Hunger Games. It's really just those different sections off. But it's also like I love the idea of vampires, and I'm like, okay, you guys exist. You want to be part of our world, which brings me back to thinking about True Blood, who when they came out and they're like, oh, I want to be part of this world. But it's just like, why can't we coexist together? And the characters came in on their own. Like I never expected, like it was a completely different character when I first started. And the main character Kane, he just came out of nowhere and he's just basically, I rule this city. And I'm just like, but do you weren't supposed to be here. But Serenity was always meant to be there. She came before Kane. She came into this world because this is her world. She's lived in it. She's helped build it, even though she's hiding herself, but she's going to be such a strong character. She has so much to give and so much growth. But by the end of the series, she's going to be so powerful because this is going to be her world and she wants to see it thrive. Yeah.
How are you finding that your process has changed with this series versus your first trilogy, Within the Darkness? Because again, another big romance, world
Yes.
building, very involved. How is it the same? How is it different?
So with the first one, I feel like I put a lot into it. I felt like at some point got out of control because it started with just a vampire and a witch, and demons came into it, and this whole world just exploded. And I was just like, whoa, I'm like, this is not how it started. Where Bound, I felt like it was more streamlined for me. I knew how it was going to begin, I knew how it was going to end, and I literally wrote it out. I wrote it from beginning to end because I just saw it all in my head. I was like, this is my story. Where Entwined was more like it started off in one book and kind of just exploded on its own. I didn't write that out. Like I just let it come out as I was going. And in some ways, it's like I want to go back into that world in Entwined because I do love that world, but It's something that's more of, it was just in my head and I had to get it out. Where Bound was more like, I absolutely love this story. I know how it's going to end. I know how the characters are going to grow. It's just like, it's all in my head. And it's just like, I've written like, I'm halfway through Marked right now. And it's just, I'm so excited to share it. It's I'm way more excited for this series than I was my last one.
So tell me about how it's in your head, because this is the element that I always find so fascinating, because I am not the writer. I am a reader. I love to read. And when I have a really good story, for me,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I am also immersed in the world. It's
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily that I'm like the character, but again, it's like a movie running in my head. Is that how it is with you? Are the characters actively speaking to you, or are you just recording what you can hear?
So it's a little bit of both. So most of the time I'm like watching them. It's like I have my imagination's so wild and vivid. It's just like I can literally watch their story take place like a movie in my head. But other times it's like when the story's not going their way, it's like my whole brain just stops and like no, it's like they almost like turn and look at me and no, this is not how this scene's supposed to go. And it's just go back and rewrite it. And I'm just like, but I like this way. And it's almost like a little argument. And then you come to a compromise, like maybe we'll do it this way. Or sometimes I end up writing out like both scenes and basically picking one that makes more sense. Yeah.
And then what do you end up doing with the alternate scene that you don't go with? Do you keep that writing? I hear sometimes authors like once they decide they don't want to do it, they just trash it. And I'm just
Oh
like, oh my
no.
gosh. I mean,
No, that's crazy.
what if you want to keep it just in case?
Yes, I keep all versions of my story. Like I still have the very first draft of Entwined. I have the very first draft of when it wasn't Entwined too. I got it all the way back to when I first started writing. It's just because sometimes it's like I go back, okay, yes, I wrote two scenes, but then I put that scene in and then I'm just like, but it don't make sense anymore once I write the whole story. So I go back and just take the other scene and put that scene in. Because you never know, like sometimes you can write the most beautiful thing and you forget. And so it's just keep it. You'll remember and it'll be added to the story. You never know.
Well, you also mentioned earlier that sometimes you go back and reread your book. And I got this, and that's not just like when you're in editing mode. So, what is it that you're then getting at? Are you revisiting the characters? Is it that you're looking to see what else
Um,
you are you looking at things that you've forgotten to help you for later writing? Is it the inspiration? What is it that you are getting when you go back and reread your own books?
so one, I enjoy I enjoy my characters, I enjoy my world, and sometimes I miss just being in that world. So I just go back and reread it. Sometimes it's remembering something. So I'll be writing like the second novel and I'll be like, I don't remember that ever happening, even though I'll write it and I'll be like, this sounds right, but it doesn't. So I'll just go back and reread. And then when I do that to go back and look at a scene, what happens is that's when it's like any other book, I get stuck. And I'm now, instead of reading that one scene, I'm now like three chapters in and I'm just like, oh no, stop. It happens so much. But I enjoy my stories. I enjoy them so much.
Do you find that is helpful to go back and visit them again when you are ready to sit down and start writing? Or
Mhm.
does it take you into a different direction? Or, hey, I wish I could have done that? Or do you need any assistance when you sit down and write and you're just instantly already there?
With writing Marked right now, I've gone back into Bound a few times just to reread certain sentences or just to reread certain things. But most of the time, like I said, I already have Bound. Like I have this whole series from start to finish in my head. So most of the time I can literally sit down and just keep going. I think sometimes it's when I stop and I get stuck and I'm just like, is this direction that I really think this character should be going to? And that's when I go back to Bound and I reread like almost like the places in which they need to grow.
Hmm.
And so that's very helpful to me because it's just like one of my favorite characters in Bound right now is Knox. And I'm trying to figure out how I want his character to grow. So I go back and I reread the scenes that he's in, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, he needs to do this and this in order to get here. And that's so helpful to me.
The other thing, and again, I think it's funny in a way when I am reading these types of books, right, is it is world building. It is something, obviously, despite what people might say, we don't have a lot of vampires running around here in North Texas. Not quite a dystopian area, not a lot of witches. You're reading it for the escapism, right? And all these unusual things that are happening. At least that's why I'm reading. I'm reading for that enjoyment.
Yep.
But you've also talked about it's really important for you that you're writing about to create connections for the readers and where they can also see themselves in the stories. So how do you manage to pull that aspect into your stories when you are writing about such fantastical things?
So I'm a reader, and so I try to make books in which readers will enjoy. I know not everyone enjoys a vampire novel, which is perfectly fine, but there are a lot of people who do enjoy vampire novels.
They're missing out.
So I try to put elements into my stories in which I know that I'm going to enjoy, because I know there's a lot of readers like me, because I sit there, like I try to find vampire novels to read like all the time, and I'm looking for different elements in vampire novels. And so I'm like, if I enjoy this, I know someone else is definitely going to enjoy this kind of scene or this kind of banner. So I try to put those things into my books in order to really connect with my readers. And most of the time I'm just hoping that they'll enjoy them too, because I can't read people's mind, but I'm laughing at my own book sometimes, and I'm just like, what did this character say? And I'm just like, I'm dying laughing. I'm like, someone else got to find this funny. It can't just be me. So I try to keep my readers in mind, but I also keep in mind that most of the, at least the first series of my books, I try to really think about the readers, but the rest of it, it's I wrote this book for me, and I'm like, I'm glad everybody else enjoys it, but I really enjoy my book. So honestly, if no one else reads it, it's okay. But I do want people to enjoy it, but it's really for me.
That's totally fair. Yes. Okay. Charley, I want to switch over to what we call our fresh fiction facts. These
Okay.
are a series of different types of questions all over the map. What's the first thing that comes to your head? Okay. Not meant to step. We'll see what happens. Okay. If it was real, which would you rather encounter? And I'm not going to give you vampire as one of the options because that's too obvious. Okay. But would you rather encounter like a shifter or an alien?
Ooh, this is a hard question. Okay, I would say the alien. I really love alien romance novels. I'm not sure why, but I do. I'm like, I kind of shifters are okay. I'm just like, but an alien romance, especially a hot alien, yes.
Yeah, right there with you on those. Yep. Everyone on book club knows my stash of alien romances. Let me tell you, we can talk about that more in the after party too. It's okay. Other than books, what is something that you own a ridiculous amount of?
I own a lot of books. I would say music. Like I don't own it, but like my playlists are really long. I love music, and so like I have, I don't know, maybe 50 plus playlists in which I listen to like all kinds of music. I think that's the one thing I own like more than books.
When you're writing, are you listening to different playlists?
Yes, I have
Yeah.
to. It
Songs
helps
or
set
just
the
music?
mood. It depends. So if I'm writing like a really intense scene, I'm listening to orchestra, violin music, something without words. I just need like a melody in my ear. But if I'm not, if I'm writing like a light scene, I'm like, it doesn't matter what's on it. I just listen. It's nice.
What luxury item can you not live without?
Ooh, honestly, oh, can't live without. I would say my Kindle. I can't live without that. I go everywhere with it. It's really bad, but I go everywhere with it. And as you would think my phone would be attached to my side, but it's no my Kindle, because what if I have time to read? So I keep it everywhere.
Okay, I know that you have kids. So,
Mhm.
what was your favorite book to read to them?
Oh, that's hard. Okay, because we read lots of books in this house. But I think the one that we've read like over several times is The Rainbow Fish. We love
Okay.
that one. Yeah. Because the glitter on, they love the glitter. And so they're like, oh, let's read The Rainbow Fish. But we love that story.
Okay, so with Bound, we've got a dystopian world. Let's flip it on the other side. Where is your ideal paradise?
Ooh, where's my idea? So it's not exactly a beach, but I would say it's like almost like a luxury resort where I can just sit down and like I can lay near the beach if I want to, but really I want to lay in the air conditioning and no one bothering me with no kids around anywhere where I can just read my book for 24 hours straight. That would be like paradise. See, now I want to. Oh, I love it.
Okay, sorry. Okay, you have $50,000, but you
Mhm.
have to spend it all in a single store. Where are you shopping and what are you buying?
Probably a lot of authors give this, but man, I would love to. I would say a bookstore in order to make my own library. So I wouldn't have to go to the bookstore. My husband would probably not like that answer, but it would be great for me. I just won't tell him about
Hey,
it.
this is for what you would want to do, not for him. It's okay.
True, true, true.
Okay, but then on the flip side, what's something that you refuse to spend money on no matter how much everyone else loves it?
It's probably gonna sound bad, but an audiobook. I I have never bought an audiobook. I get it. I get it. People read all kinds of different ways and you can read an audiobook, but I can't listen to a book. Like I guess my imagination is just so vivid. Like I'm so afraid that I'm going to listen to a book and the voice is not going to match what's in my head. And so it's
Oh
just,
gosh,
yeah. And so I just don't want to do it and it's going to ruin it for me. So I'm just like, no, I'll just read the book. It's so much better. Even though my friends tell me I'm saying the names in the books wrong. And I'm just like, that's okay. It's in my head. It's perfect. No one
who
knows.
cares?
Right?
That's right.
It's okay. Oh.
Who do you think should be on the Mount Rushmore for writing?
So all my favorite authors should be. So my one of my favorite authors is J.R. Ward. I absolutely love all her books. Sherilyn Kenyon, I love her books. And then Karen Marie Moning, I love her books. Yes, I love all her books. I love that woman. And then who else is there? Oh, her name. Oh, Amelia Hutchins. I love her books too. I've read all of her books. And then there's one more. Oh, I can't remember. And I just saw her name and it's just not coming to me.
Well, the thing
She,
I love with those are also that they've built such elaborate worlds themselves.
yes, and that's what I love. I get lost
Yeah.
in them. And the fact that there's a whole series is just like wonderful to me because I can just go back into their world anytime that I want to. And that's what I love. I just, especially if a new book comes out, I'm one of those people who go back and I reread the whole series just to immerse myself back in that world. And this is so sad. I see her name and I can't. Ah,
It's going to come to you. Don't worry.
right?
Okay. Okay. Now this, I already had this one picked out. So sorry. What is one thing that you always forget when you're in a hurry?
Actually, I forget my cell phone. It's really bad. I leave that thing everywhere, especially if I'm in a rush. I just leave it and people just find it. I've not lost it, if that's crazy. It's I've never lost my cell phone, but I always forget it. Yeah, it's really crazy.
What terrible movie do you legitimately enjoy?
Ooh, I don't know. Okay, I do know. Earth Girls Are Easy. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh my gosh, with Jeff Goldblum,
Yes,
Gina Davis, and
yes. That
yeah.
is a terrible movie, but it's so good. I love that movie.
See, you shouldn't feel too bad because I do know it and I've seen it multiple times, so it's okay.
That's good. I'm glad because I say it and people are like, "What movie is that?" I'm like, "It's so good," but they're like,
Yeah, it's an older one, but yeah, I gotcha. Okay, what's your oddly specific pet peeve that no one else seems bothered by?
"Ooh, I don't know." Oh, okay. I don't like when people are late. Oh, and mine is really specific, like by 1 minute. And I'm not mad at anyone. It's just, it's a thing. It bothers me and I call it out and it's really bad. And no one's, oh, they're a minute late. And I'm just like, I know they're a minute late. And I'm just like, but they're a minute late. It's just an odd pet peeve. I don't know what to do about it, but being late is a
Okay,
pet peeve.
gotcha. Pull you out of a story, either a book you're reading or a movie or a TV show. What pulls you instantly out of it?
Repeat the question. What was it? Pulls me instantly.
What is something that as you're reading or watching a show that will just, boy, something happens and it just pulls you, yanks you right out of the storyline?
Oh, when my kids call me.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, you kind of have to
instantly.
pay attention to them. Yeah.
Yeah, every time. It makes me so upset because it's getting to the good part. But then they're like, oh, I need something. And I'm just like, fine. But yeah, instantly pulls me out every time.
Okay, we've talked about a lot of other worlds. What book world, yours or another author's, would you want to actually step into?
Ooh, that's not an easy question. I do love my world. I really do. But I would probably want to go into Karen Marie Moning's world, the Fever series. I love that world. It was one of the first like real fantasy worlds that I fell in love with, and I'd love to go into that world, even though it's scary. That novel's it's a little scary, but I would love to meet the characters.
See, I was going to ask you to clarify because, again, since you said that you also love the historical romance, okay, would you want to do the fever ones, the more modern, or go back with more of the Highlanders?
Oh, see, her world starts with
I know,
Highlander.
yeah, yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah. Starting
When I
there,
realized that,
go.
I was like, no way.
Yeah. Oh, I love me some Highlanders. Oh, starting that world, definitely.
Okay, considering how much music that you also listen to, what's
Mhm.
your favorite one-hit wonder?
Oh, oh, that's hard. I love music. I don't know. There's so many. I don't know if they're really a one-hit wonder though. What's the band called? They sang like the Flintstones song. Oh my God, I can't remember their name. No, they're not really a one-hit
Are
wonder.
you talking about the B-52s?
Yeah, but they're not one-hit wonder.
No, because they did the one they did it for the movie version
Yeah.
of the Flintstones.
I don't think I have one then. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think I
Okay, let
have
me ask you another hard one. What is your most dog-eared book that you go back to over and over again, either for
one.
enjoyment or for research?
So I tell you I love historical romances, and I think I just saw her. So I don't know if you know this novel. It's called Whitney Love. I think it's Love Whitney.
Whitney, My Love?
Yeah, by Judith McNult.
Yes. I read that book. Yes, I know that one.
Yes, I can literally go back and reread like that novel over and over again. It's like one of my favorites. And then I have Knight in Shining Armor by I can't remember her name.
Yes. Jude Devereaux.
Yes, I love that one. I could just read that one over and over. And then my absolute favorite, oh my gosh, it's like part of a long series, but it's like the only one in the series that I like absolutely love because it's so heartbreaking and cute and I just could read it over and over again. I can't even remember. It's so sad. I hate my memory sometimes. It's just especially when you're like thinking about something and you're just like, ugh. But it's the like the Bedouin series. You have no clue about it.
Oh, yeah, by Mary Balo.
Yeah. I love you. You're so great.
You're
But
liking some of my favorites too. That's why.
it's slightly dangerous. That's what it is. Slightly dangerous. I absolutely love that book. I think I've read it like 50,000 times. I think it's just so romantic. Ah. And I
Now,
relate
of
to the
course,
main
I admit
character.
I am over here sitting. I'm thinking, okay, what color cover was the slightly
Silver.
dangerous? Okay, gotcha. All right, I'm picturing them all on my shelf, and I'm like, which one is this?
Yeah. I have them all too, but I'm so drawn to that one. I've actually read almost every series, like every book in that series, but that one I always just go back to.
Okay, now the most important question, because as readers, as much as we always want to read your latest book, and if people haven't gone to get this yet, you need to go and buy your copy of Bound, which is the book one in the Elite series. But where can our readers and listeners keep up with you and find out what else is going on and what else they can look forward to?
So I have my website. I try to keep it as up to date as possible, which is just charlieblack.com. And then I'm really active on Instagram and then Facebook. I also have a group on Facebook called Charlie B's Book Nook, where I just give latest updates on what's happening. It's really easy to find. You really just type in Charlie B's Book Nook and it should pop right up. But you can always sign up on my website for my newsletters that I send out. I don't send them out monthly. I'm trying to send them out more quarterly. But yeah, that's basically where you can find me.
Awesome. Charlie, it was great talking with you tonight. So glad that you were able to join our Fresh Fiction Book Club. And readers, if you haven't checked these out, really good stories, lots of world building, either with her latest series with the Elite and Bound, or go back and visit her previous trilogy Within the Darkness, and you can get the entire world there. So thanks again for joining us, Charlie.
Thank you for having me.